lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just hold me. Just hold me. Just hold me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And the Geico restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race, coming to 4 laps to go. He's gonna win it here in spectacular fashion.
From the land of where if you build it, they will come, the GLR INVets Truck Series is ready to get it on right here in the round of 8. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast Booth, where I, Dave Riegel, am going to be alongside of the great Jordan Brockel, bringing you all of the action from the green flag to the checkered flag right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, want to welcome all of you in tonight as we come into the round of 8. Jordan, this is going to be one of those defining moments in our season as we look ahead here to find out who it's going to be moving into that championship for. A few drivers tonight do have the, let's just say, the chance to go ahead and get themselves in. But the question becomes whether or not they get everything set up tonight. Right now, Jeremy Gardner sits atop the qualifying pile, and it is going to be a busy night right here in Iowa.
Absolutely. I mean, Iowa is one of my favorite tracks, just under a mile long, and it's but it races like a short track. And we get the chance to see, if somebody can knock off Mark Whitley once again, as he's been on this string for consecutive amount of weeks here. And, it's going to be, kind of do or die time for a lot of these guys here in this round. If you have a really bad race here and you're towards the lower end of that standings, it's going to be near impossible for you to get up and into that Final Four, but we're going to, certainly see an uppage in chaos, in my opinion.
Yeah, with a lot less time left in the season, a lot of these drivers, especially these top 8 that are in this round of 8, are going to be out for blood. And quite frankly, I don't blame them one single bit. But right now, as we come in here to the opening night of the round of 8, it's going to be Joseph McWhorter, as we're going to go ahead and get those points up here on the screen. Joseph McWhorter sits atop the pile, and next up on the list is going to be Travis Bieber out of Ole, Pennsylvania. Then along with Travis, it's going to be Big David Duke, Charles Abert, then Wallace Price, Libkey, and Holt. And Libkey holding spots here in the Truck Series, as well as and that's going to just stay stuck open. That's great. Cool. Libkey, of course, holding a playoff position in our ARCA series as well, which all of you can tune in tomorrow night for. But right now, qualifying looks like it is over, so we're going to go ahead and pull up that Jam Printing and Promotions qualifying driver. There is Jeremy Gardner, who's going to get the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. We want to thank our friends at Jam Printing and Promotions out of Plainfield, Indiana. We are local, we are veteran certified, and when we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company, and they sponsor our pole award across all series this season. And, of course, a huge thank you to them as well as we go ahead and get underway. The pole position occupied tonight by Jeremy Gardner, as we had just mentioned. We're waiting for him to get in the race truck, but let's go ahead and look at that official lineup as we get ready to drop the green flag. Jeremy Gardner going to be our Jam Printing and Promotions pole sitter alongside of Mark Whitley. Sitting on the inside of row number 2 going to be Joseph McWhorter and Barrett Morton. Row 3 going to feature Jeremiah Holt and Big David Duke, while Brandon Wallace and Alex McQueen sit in row number 4. Rounding out your starting top 5 is Andy Kurtz and Charles Abert, while Casey Jones and Travis Bieber are going to be featured in row number 6. Row number 7 going to be, of all folks, it's going to be Kevin Price on the inside and playoff driver Jamie Libkey to the outside, while Ricky Sisk Jr., Kyle Deering, Brock Price, and starting 18th and shotgun on the field right now scheduled is Noah Hoagie Hogard. They're in the number 158 Toyota Tundra. So 18 drivers scheduled to take the green flag tonight. What are you going to be looking for tonight, Jordan?
I'm going to be looking for a lot of these guys that are in this this playoff to find their way to get up towards the front. His track position here is going to be a big key. I'm also looking for, Jeremy Gardner being the pole guy. I'm looking for Whitley to maybe try to find a way to settle in here and see what he can learn maybe from behind Gardner, because he was a tad bit behind Gardner in time-wise. But, Whitley being as smart of a driver as he is, he's going to find ways to, get to and around Gardner, and I think it's going to be a big battle there up front. But mostly, I'm looking for these playoff drivers to kind of pick people off one by one as this race goes on through the laps.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we've got to watch, especially with these drivers as they come off of turn 2, is the fact that they're going to be hungry. They're going to be out there waiting for something to pounce on. And, you know, now that we're this deep into the playoffs, those 8 drivers are going to be looking for any weakness as we get ready to rock and roll. 18 cars were scheduled to take the green flag. Jamie Libke and Noah Hogard missing from our start. Kyle Deering in the number 6 in the 16 spot going to anchor the field with Jeremy Gardner atop the pile. The iRacing.com pace truck brings us around toward the start-finish line. We're going to have one more lap of caution before dropping the green flag tonight, Jordan.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things like where usually you only have about I'd say about 3/4 of a lap to kind of digest to go green, but here you got a full lap and a half here to try to, you know, keep your nerves, you know, down as much as you can. And certainly when you're a playoff driver, those nerves are going to be higher because, again, it's the start of a round. You've got to run solid. You've got to put yourself in a position to be able to at least get into that 4th place position. And it's going to be one of those things where now you got to sit here and think for about a lap.
Well, and they don't have even a full lap left to go before they drop the green flag. Jeremy Gardner with control of the field. We want to thank everybody for tuning in here to Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal and Jordan Brockell with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank you for making us a part of your evening, for welcoming us into your homes, onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening. And as they come into the Geico restart zone, the only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab your popcorn, your honey buns, and settle in. Race fans, we're going playoff racing in Iowa. It's showtime! Green flag Whitley in the air, and they're already down into turn 3.
Yeah, Whitley able to really ride that outside and put himself firmly in the front spot here. So, I mean, I think starting second actually helped Whitley be able to kind of run the outside line and get a good, you know, momentum, being able to carry a lot more speed through the middle to the high line of the corner, as he's put about a half second almost on this field already.
Yeah, Mark Whitley's been a really consistent driver for most of the season as he leads now by nearly a half second. We are green flag racing here on lap number 2. As we come across the line, it's going to be lap 3 at Iowa Speedway. Whitley, McWhorter, Gardner, Morton, and Big David Duke, that's your top 5. We're going to get a chance a little bit later to take a look at your playoff picture here in the Truck Series. But as we stand right now, Joseph McWhorter is just 11 points above the cut line. You know, this really levels out the playing field for these playoff drivers versus the non-playoff drivers. And, of course, those drivers just barely above the cut to those just below.
Yeah, and I feel like for McWhorter being, you know, the highest guy in this playoff right now and being in that P2 position, you know, of course, as a racer, you want to get up and win. But for him, if he can finish, you know, P2 here, and some of those guys that are right below him in points have just enough of an issue that he can get a certain amount of points ahead of that cut line, he'll lock himself into that 4 pretty not, I can't say easily, but you know, he'll put himself in a place where, you know, the following week he's just going out to win, just going out to get the best position that he could possibly get as much of a head start into the final race of the season as possible. And I mean, right now sitting pretty. Wow, I did not expect. Didn't mean to say pretty, but sitting pretty good right now, sitting in the P2 spot.
Which one of us is a pile of mess right now? As we take a look here at lap number 6, we want to thank our friends over, and there it disappeared. There it is, over and above the yellow line. As we take a peek here at number 78, Big David Duke. He drives the number 78 above the yellow line Chevrolet Silverado. In 2021, Above the Yellow Line with Taylor Kitchen began as a podcast fueled by a passion for motorsports and a desire to build community. What started as a simple idea has grown into something far beyond what she could have imagined. Through this journey, Taylor and her team have not only connected with passionate motorsports fans, but they have also formed connections with several inspiring content creators united by their love for the sport. That passion and collaboration led to the creation of ATYL Media, a dynamic team of motorsports content creators dedicated to producing motorsports content that's fresh, informative, and fun. At ATYL Media, we cover everything you love about motorsports, from F1 and IndyCar to NASCAR, short tracks, and even virtual racing. We celebrate the sport's rich history, explore its exciting future, and enjoy every moment in between. This is Motorsports Your Way, and speaking of your way, right now Mark Whitley is having his way with the field on lap number 9, rolling to 10.
Yeah, out about a second, almost a second and a half on P2 here, and I mean that's kind of what we've seen each and every week we've logged on. Given a couple weeks here and there where he's had to fight for the win, but when he first came onto the scene here, this is kind of what we saw, him being able to get these larger leads and pull away from the field, and it's kind of looking like that now. But I mean, it's only going to be it's only been 10 laps in, so I mean it's going to be it's going to feel like a long race for him being out front, trying to continue the streak.
Yeah, I realize that his streak of wins in general in the GLR series ended on our show last Monday night in the ARCA series, but he has a chance to at least keep that truck winning streak alive here tonight on lap number 11. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. As always, INVets, of course, we also want to thank, because without them, we would not be on the air tonight. INVets was founded by veterans for veterans, and they aid in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit here in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. And they, of course, are our title sponsor this evening. And Barrett Morton chasing Jeremy Gardner here on lap number 13. I take a peek a little bit further back and look at Brandon Wallace trying to hold on to the high side. He must be loose enough that he's able to hold the high side without slowing his progress down, Jordan.
Yeah, and that's one of those things about Iowa that I like is, the shortest way around the track, obviously down on that yellow line there, but, to be able to carry the momentum, ride that high line towards the middle here and, kind of keep yourself, keep those revs up is a big positive if you're able to do so. And, because I know me, if I try to run a high line, I get too scared of the wall, I get out of it too soon, so it ends up just being like I'm already a lapped car while on the lead lap. But, just close to the wall there. It looks like McQueen grabbed it. But, that high line's going to be a dominant line to have if you can run it the way that you need to. And certainly Wallace looking as though to be one of those guys.
Keep an eye on McQueen here. And, of course, he's currently holding on to 6th position. He's fought his way up there from 8th. And right now he's riding this middle lane. And I don't know what it is. I don't want to sit here and question him, because if it's working for him, I don't want to argue it, as he trails Big David Duke by about 0.2 of a second. McQueen really hasn't changed his line, and I'm wondering if that's extending the life of those tires as he works it here on lap number 16. We want to thank everybody for peeking their heads in here to the youtube.com live chat. And so far we've heard from Big Mac saying go Mets, and quite frankly, Big Mac, I'd like to say go muck the Fets. Updates, and now my internet is dropping, was Jamie Libke. Oh no. And Tropical Noah said, unfortunately, I couldn't race tonight because my USB cable from my gear shifter bent in half. Tropical Noah, what were you doing that bent your USB cable?
That thing is at almost a 45-degree angle.
Yeah,
so
I didn't realize that was a thing that could happen.
I mean, you get stuck between a pedal if it comes unplugged somehow. It gets stuck between a pedal. You push the pedal down, and all of a sudden you bend it. I've been there with some of my equipment, and it happens.
I have load cell pedals, and they don't bend stuff like that. It is what it is, but that's a shame there for Libke and Noah, especially with Jamie. She's a playoff driver. I mean, she's here in the round of 8. That makes next week a must-win situation for Jamie.
Yeah, it's going to be a big uphill battle for that position, and it's going to be needing to get a win or get podium, and then also have some trouble from those people that are going to be around them. So it's going to be a very, very hard uphill battle from there.
Well, and the way that a lot of these playoff matchups look, it at least for my money, seems like this is going to really start to weigh on some folks, as we're 20 laps into this piece, so already a fifth of the way through. Let's look at those playoff points as we've got a few moments here. For starters, we'll pull this up right there in the middle of your screen. Now, this round of points, pretty important. Now, McWhorter, Bieber, Duke, Abert, Wallace, Price, Libke, and Holt, right? That's your round of 8. And this is what I'm worried. Oh, and I just lost it on my information side of the screen. What I'm worried to see is, whether Libke's got to lay one out next week to try to transfer or finish better than McWhorter, Bieber, Duke, and Aber, which, again, you might as well just win. But Brandon Wallace, at least for my money, would be a wild card. He's running in 6th position right now in the 99.
Yeah, and he's been around this area most of the season, and I mean, a couple races, some incidences, and that happens with racing, and just gotten the bad luck of some things, but for the most part, one of the most consistent racers in the series, and it's hopefully going to play into his favor there, with getting a good finish here and a good finish next week, sneaking into that last spot or even possibly third there. And I mean, it's certainly a possibility given the talent that's behind that 99 truck.
Well, and when you say talent like that, we have to remember, folks, that this is a fixed setup league. That means that all of these chassis are set up exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the driver and that driver's comfort controls, and really that's, brake bias. Good luck. For most of these drivers, they're out there having to make adjustments on the fly to their driving style, not necessarily the setup. As we take a look here at Brandon Wallace, driver of the number 99 out of Odessa. And we see that he's currently Brandon Wallace back in 6th position. He's 4 spots behind Joseph McWhorter out of Saint Robert, if you will. St. Robert or Saint Robert? Robert?
Yeah, McWhorter usually sitting here in these P2, P3 positions each and every week. So another consistent racer there. So again, I see him being able to get himself into this, round of 4 and, able to focus fully on going into that championship race here as Gardner looks to the inside for a touch of a moment there.
Jeremy Gardner running in 3rd position here on lap number 28. He looked to the inside, but he backs off, and he's going to allow McWhorter a little bit more leeway here in the number 72 Chevrolet Silverado. In fact, it is nothing but Chevrolets until you get all the way back to 13th position. And just 2 Toyotas were scheduled to be in the field, and only Jamie Libke is the only Toyota Tundra out here tonight. We want to thank our friends over at Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment, transforming students' lives and adding value to their communities. They are one of the largest automotive technology schools in the nation with 23 campuses, and they, of course, are our title sponsor of the Spring Series and a huge partner here with Goat Locker Racing. And, the biggest thing here with Goat Locker Racing is making sure that you folks head on over to goatlockerracing.org/donate. And as a contributor to Goat Locker Racing, we make sure that your donation goes directly to supporting our cause of helping military, veterans, and first responders. And we thank you in advance for your generosity. And, Jordan, we've talked about this before multiple times. The amount of work that they put in here at GLR is impressive to you and I. And at GLR, they provide virtual racing equipment, racing team building opportunities, and fundraising events to support community initiatives to improve military and public servant quality of life. We seek to grow our competitive team of drivers and promote VR racing as healthy activity to newly transitioning veterans and their families. We believe that friendly competition, adrenaline-soaked driving, and community gatherings are essential to a good quality of life for our civic servants and veterans, and that GLR can be a force of good all across the state of Indiana and beyond. And those donations over at goatlockerracing.org/donate will go toward equipment for qualifying drivers, racer simulation, training for military, firefighter, and EMS and police, as we've got a challenge for the lead. Mark Whitley and Jeremy, nope, just kidding. Sorry, challenge for 2nd position. Barrett Morton and Joseph McWhorter ready to go at it. But those donations will also provide racer simulation training for military, firefighters, EMS, and police, public racing events, and community outreach with mobile simulators, as well as other veteran-serving nonprofits and veteran education supplement grants. So obviously, you know, every dime that you're going to spend here and donate to Goat Locker Racing is going to a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything they do is an amazing thing to see. And again, I love seeing the content they post when they deliver rigs and everything like that. It's a very thankless job that each veteran does, and it shows just how important places like GLR are.
Mark Whitley working here on lap number 35 of 100. We're going to go back here to the gap view. He's already almost 2 seconds even now above Jeremy Gardner.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to do quick math here, Dave. If everything went the way that it is, if everything goes the way that it is right now, it's going to be one of those things where the points situation would be really tight, because as they sit right now with Wallace in 6th and Travis in 11th, they'd be separated by 1 point, as Wallace would get 6 or 5 more points than Bieber. So I mean, that shows you right there how every position is important. As Wallace is up in 6th, Bieber down a little bit further there.
One of the things to keep in mind here is that I just saw here in the YouTube.com live chat, points-wise, Jamie Libke was able to log in and get a lap in. So that's going to help the points for her here in the number 16. Now, Hoagie hasn't been able to get on since. Jamie Libke is blinking like someone who just got hot sauce, squeezed into their eye. It's going in and out, and that's a connection issue, as she had mentioned in the YouTube.com live chat.
Yeah, it's the only downfall of sim racing. I mean, I guess you could chalk it up as having motor issues or suspension issues. In a sense, it's kind of at random, kind of happens on you when you least want it to. So we could chalk it up as Libke having some motor issues.
Yeah, we'll just call it internet motor issues. It's fine. It all means the same thing. You and I have been
modem.
This. Yes,
modem issues.
I see what you did there. I almost asked a question here that I could have found the answer out. Oh, that's scary looking. Rivalry. Never mind. It's a whole thing. Don't worry about it. Mark Whitley, Jeremy Gardner, Joseph McWhorter, Barrett Morton, Big David Duke, Brandon Wallace, Jeremiah Holt, Andy Kurtz, Casey Jones, and Travis Bieber. They make up your top 10, while Travis Bieber and Casey Jones are back here swapping paint on lap number 42 of 100. We're approaching that halfway point. We're about 8 laps off from it. And, folks, at this stage in the race, you've got to start to think, are some of these guys trying to stretch us into a one-stop race, or do they have to do 2 stops?
It's going to be a close call. I mean, I've seen people able to stretch fuel mileage a lot further than, I'd expect. But, again, that's why I'm up here in the broadcast booth and not down there in a race truck. But, I mean, if anyone's going to be able to pull off just one stop, it's going to be Mark Whitley. I mean, we've seen him pull that as side-by-side Travis Bieber to the outside of Casey Jones, going to advance himself up into the 9th place position here.
And, here's the thing. Travis Bieber was just able to battle his way past Casey Jones here on lap number 44, and now we start to see Travis Bieber set sail off to the left side of your screen as he hauls it down into turn number 1. He's going to start to gap Casey Jones now by about a half second, and it seems like once these drivers are able to overcome one another, as all of a sudden I can't keep the words in a straight line, but once we see these drivers battling their way past other individuals, we're starting to see a lot bigger of a gap here as we approach the halfway point, as we're currently on lap number 45.
Yeah, we're getting really close there to that halfway point. It's going to be interesting. If Mark Whitley can hit that halfway point, then without a doubt, we're going to get just a one-stopper from these guys. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that's the thing with this league and the talent that's in this league is everyone is a threat. If they're within a few seconds and can make up time with pit stops or even possibly a late race caution, it's going to be anybody's ball game, and it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds.
And unfold it is at 49 laps in, so 49% of this race complete. Whitley, Gardner, McWhorter, and now Barrett Morton, the first out of our top 10 to come on down pit road. He brings the 9 pit side here. Let's take a look at that Chevrolet Silverado, the Riley's Roses Chevrolet Silverado. He's going to come on down. Let's take a peek. And obviously the driver info doesn't want to pull up. There it is out of Louisville, Kentucky. And remember, it's only in sports that it's suddenly Louisville, except when you're talking about baseball bats. That's when they call it Louisville. But out of Louisville, Kentucky is Barrett Morton. He's going to get 4 tires in the tank at Go Fast. Here comes Joseph McWhorter down pit road. He's going to go into pit box number 3 and going to get 4 tires in the tank at Go Fast. All of a sudden, it seems like pit stops underway as we now hit the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, and it's one of those things in my mind is, with them coming down, Morton coming down first, he's going to have fresh tires, be able to run out there a full lap, under fresh tires, whereas, Whitley stayed out an extra lap. So, older tires, slower times. Morton gets out there to run. Might be able to jump these guys a little bit here by, pitting just a lap earlier. We've seen it time and time again that just a single lap or two earlier than the leaders, and you can completely flip a race on its head.
Travis Bieber cycling now to the top of the pile. He's going to be just ahead of Gardner, Wallace, Kurtz, and Deering. But Ricky Sisk Jr., if he can get around those drivers sitting down on pit road, he's going to be able to seal the deal here and get up into P2. But looks like right now, as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be Bieber and Gardner atop the pile.
Yeah, it looks like Morton was able to get just right to within just a few seconds there of Whitley. I'm trying to, as everything flips on our timing and scoring, I'm trying to look at the math and do the math real quick. About 0.6 off of Gardner as he's getting ready to pass Gardner. So
Travis Bieber comes on down pit road. He's going to get 4 tires in the tank of Go Fast there in the number 114 Chevrolet Silverado. One half of the Ole Turnpike Mafia. Now Mark Whitley and Jeremy Gardner are going to go back up there into 1 and 2. And you have to start to wonder, what does Gardner have to do to catch back up to Whitley as he's trailing him by 1.8 seconds?
yeah, so I mean a massive gap here for Whitley, which I thought it would bring Morton into the fray a little bit more than it did, but I mean he's certainly right there on the tail end of Gardner, so certainly within a striking distance, closer now than 4 pit stops.
Lap number 55 here for Mark Whitley. I hope that you enjoyed what you heard on the back channel, sir. As it's going to be Whitley, Gardner, Morton, McWhorter, and Duke. I don't want to get too much into it, but that's not that David Duke, so we're fine. Let's not all get worried.
Sometimes I wish I had a back channel to respond to your back channel, but certainly keeps me laughing and rolling over here. But nonetheless, I mean, You know, David Duke has been pretty strong as of late, and sitting here in the P5 spot here, and McWhorter falling down to P4, which it's weird to say fallen to P4, as I would be happy to be anywhere near the top 5. But, I mean, see, Morton just pitting a lap earlier than those guys, able to flip positions there with the number 72 machine.
Well, you know, that's one of the things that I appreciate most about this league specifically. You know, you just said it yourself. You'd be happy to be anywhere near the top 5. I would be happy to be anywhere on the racetrack with these guys. They're incredible. And watching these fellas week after week, as now we're all of a sudden into that round of 8 in the playoffs. I mean, it's been a long season, and these people are not giving up yet. I mean, right now, closest battle on the racetrack belongs right here to Casey Jones and Travis Bieber, as Bieber in the 114 has slid back into 9th position after that round of pit cycles. But, you know, as he's able to wrap that bottom line, it seems like, you know, both Bieber boys, we'll see them tomorrow night on the ARCA series, are really able to get those vehicles, whether it's a truck or a car, loosened up to wrap the yellow line.
Yeah, and that's where I feel that the fixed setup races are a driver's, you know, race. It's one of those things, a car is never going to always be set up the way that you want it to be raced. It's going to be kind of what's given to you. And to be able to, you know, change any part of your driving style to make the truck faster or make the car faster, whatever it may be that you are driving. As we got a yellow field out, it looks like Alex McQueen has a little bit of a trouble.
Under caution we go here, as Alex McQueen is registered as having crashed. Going to take a peek here at Alex McQueen in the 178, the save22.net machine. Oi! Jesus! Oh. You heard the motor pop just as he hit the wall?
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things where, I mean, it was just down pit road not that long ago. And fresh, cold tires, you know, getting up a little bit higher than we've seen some people. So even maybe a little bit of the marbles getting on those fresh tires starts to bring that rear end around. And, you know, once you try to slide and you try to counter steer to save it, it grabbed traction maybe a little sooner than he expected. And where you just kind of snap to the right up into the wall. And, you know, Abbott was able to avoid that there.
So as we go under caution, stand by. All of a sudden, the old Stream Deck doesn't want to operate correctly. Everybody's going to come down and fill up that gas tank. They're going to get 4 more tires, and you know, here's the deal with that. At least my opinion. This puts them within striking distance of the end. 38 laps to go with fresh tires. All of a sudden, we just went from guys holding on for dear life on lap, 97 to guys duking it out on lap 97. Great Cross saying, hope the race goes well, jumped in on the middle. And we are right here in the thick of it, Gray. Cross, is that related to Alex Cross by chance, for those of you who like to read? The 2008 Phillies is a good reference. Ricky Sisk Jr. comes back down pit road. That can't be fun.
Yeah, it comes down maybe just, I'm trying to see, my board goes across too far to see, looks like it's going to be an extended stay, so maybe staying out, maybe getting a lead possibly.
Watch the 7 here. This was... What? Oh, the 7 caught. Oh, crackers.
Yeah, the 7 pulled a let's turn right to go left. And
hey, it worked for Lightning McQueen.
It worked for Charles there too. Just he turned hard left and then decided to pull the McQueen and turn hard right, drift it down there to the apron to avoid. I mean, that would have been a race and contact there with McQueen, because he was full power through the corner and was on the high line there and just locked her down and prayed no one was down there on the low side in harm's way.
I knew I made the right choice when I picked my best friend. Get it?
I knowed it.
See what I did there?
I knowed it.
When
I
we go
knowed I
back,
made a
green
good
flag
choice.
racing as the iRacing.com pace car going to bring us down the backstretch. It's going to be Jeremy Gardner, Mark Whitley, Jeremiah Holt, Barrett Morton, Brock Price, Joseph McWhorter, Andy Kurtz, Brandon Wallace, Big David Duke, and Travis Bieber in your top 10. 64 laps, 2/3 of the way. Brandon Wallace saying boo caution in the YouTube.com live chat.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to tighten things up. Everything's going to get revved up, ready to go here. Going to get ready to give control to Whitley here. As he's going to roll towards that Geico restart zone on the outside. They're going to fire off and put us back under green flag as he gets a head full of steam heading towards turn 1. Able to pull a good distance on Gardner there already. As Morton is just about the same distance from Gardner there, and those three certainly showing power. Gardner down to the bottom. He's still trying to work that low line as Whitley is able to really use that outside line to run wide open here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's the only way that you're going to be able to hold the throttle open is now Travis Bieber and Brock Price going to have to start exchanging positions. Now to the outside, it's the 0-3 of Brock Price. He peaked around, but now Bieber sticks to the high side. Now, Price thinks he's going to look to the inside. I think at this point, Price kind of looks like Indiana Jones. He doesn't have a clue, and he's just going to try to go through this cave to figure out how to get around Bieber.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy thing to get around Bieber. The Bieber boys have certainly proved that they are the clean versions of Ross Chastain, able to just make that bumper about 2-3 trucks wide and block wherever they need to without causing incidents.
All of a sudden, a lot of our timing and scoring, I don't know if you've noticed this, but it's starting to go orange and red as the heat's getting turned up deeper in the field here. Now, to the outside is Joseph McWhorter. He's trying to gain the spot on Barrett Morton. And McWhorter looking for that podium finish here. 70 laps about to be in the books.
Yeah, and I mean, even for the front, I know it's still a half-second lead for Whitley there, but I mean, Gardner is not letting him get away as it shrinks now down to about 0.4 of a second. Morton's still sitting pretty here in P3. As you see directly behind it, Holt and Wallace side by side fighting for that spot, as Wallace is going to be clear of it with Duke going to the outside of McWhorter now. As we now have a caution on the racetrack. So just as we're getting going, crossed over for 70 laps, we have caution now here, and we'll look at it here momentarily once we get a second. As looking here at timing and scoring, it looks as though maybe Travis Bieber had a little bit of an issue.
Jordan, with a breaking invoice here, information segment. Going to need you to come on down to Von C's in Norristown, Pennsylvania, and perhaps trim your back hair. But I love you either way.
What? Pause. What?
I know you have a hairier back than I do. Just trim it.
Well, just gonna air that out there for that.
It's fine. Folks, listen, you have the hairiest backed crew in sim racing right now. Want to thank all of our friends for checking in tonight. Of course, here in the INVets Truck Series on Goat Locker Racing. INVets was founded by veterans for veterans, and they aid in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families with the goal of bringing veterans to Indiana to live and work. And, of course, they are the title sponsor of the Sunday Night Truck Series. And I'll tell you what, Jordan, we have been around for, every week of the regular season, and it's only just getting started, folks. I really hope that all of you are tuned in for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean it's only going to get crazier. Next week. I mean, this week we've already had a pretty large fire, if you will, with the 2 cautions we've had here tonight. Whitley out here to try to get win number, I believe, 6 in a row here for the Truck Series. As again, he's been on a tear, and each and every week he just kind of puts his hands up and just says he doesn't understand what's going on, but he's gonna ride the high until it falls off the tracks. But certainly Whitley here on the nomination trail and continues to perform. So we're looking to see if he can continue that streak here with just under 30 to go here when we go back racing.
Going to be Whitley, Gardner, Morton, McWhorter, Holt, Jones, Deering, Price, Sisk, Duke. Your top 10. The iRacing.com pace car with its lights on yet. I want to thank our friends right here at Goat Locker Racing and, of course, our other friends at Lincoln Tech. Lincoln's mission is to provide superior education and training to our students for in-demand careers in a supportive, accessible learning environment. They're the largest automotive technology school in the nation with 23 campuses, and they are the title sponsor of the Spring Series. And, of course, those that support our pole position award. Out of Plainfield, Indiana, Jam Printing and Promotions. They are local, and they have been around since 2013. Jam has contributed to printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company.
Whitley going to fire off here to get us started here on the restart. Is Gardner going to be directly in front of Morton as Morton's all over the back bumper going into turn 1. McWhorter on the outside, fighting to take over the final podium spot here. Gardner now just within 0.3 of a second here. And, I mean, he's making it work on the bottom, but now Whitley changing it up, going down to the bottom to try to take off the line of the 42.
The 74 leading the way now, and the 42 still kind of stuck up high. I'm starting to wonder if the 42 is just simply able to wrap that bottom a little bit more, or if Whitley has found a way to extend that tire life.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, coming down pit road, last lap 61, getting a little bit of a heat up of them and using them there for a couple laps, and then now, them getting cold, being on pace laps, and then now reheating them. At this point, it's just do as fast as you can for 23 laps, and it's going to be interesting to see just who can keep the speed over the next 22, 23 laps.
In other words, burn them off, because if she dies, she dies.
Well, it's one of those things is if there's still tire left by the end of this race, I mean, that's tire that you didn't use on the racetrack. You just kind of think to yourself, if I would have used just 5% more of that tire, I would have won the race. So, I mean, you should leave no doubt out there and just use them.
I mean, I don't disagree whatsoever. I'm just, I'm sitting here watching guys like Mark Whitley lead the way. And as we drop back further in the pile, all of a sudden, Casey Jones and Jeremiah Holt are getting ready to go side by side. We haven't seen a lot of these, dueling action races tonight, but it seems like what we're going to see with the 34 and the 73 is they may push themselves up to the 99 at Brandon Wallace.
Yeah, but I mean, the more they race side by side and fight each other, it's going to be actually beneficial to that 99 and allow him to pull forward. But it looks as though Holt was able to clear and stay ahead of both Duke and Jones here, and now has his eyes set as Duke now starts to look to the inside of Holt.
20 laps to go. Mark Whitley leads the way here on lap number 82 as 19 clicks off. It's been an interesting night so far, and Whitley has not looked back since the drop of the green flags.
No, absolutely not. I mean, each restart that he got, he was able to power forward and then even take the lead there on the beginning of the race on the first green flag, and hasn't again looked back. But I mean, it's one of those things now. He may have to start looking backwards here soon, as Gardner's still within 0.3 of a second. So any kind of slip by the 74 and the 42 is going to be all over the back.
As I say that, we have a battle. Brock Price just got around Charles Haber and now puts Andy Kurtz in the crosshairs, while meanwhile Jeremiah Holt looks to the high side, looks to the low side here underneath the 34 of Casey Jones. They are suddenly going to go fender to fender here with 17 laps to go.
Yeah, time running out for these guys. Again, 17 laps to go. And at a track that is as small as Iowa, that's going to tick off really quickly, and it's going to put this thing to the checkered pretty much by a snap of a finger. But, I mean, it's going to be one of those things where you can't lift as much as you would if it was lap 10 versus now lap 84. So it's all go, all gas, no brakes, as my favorite wrestler Jacob Fatu would say.
Fatu, as Mark Whitley, Jeremy Gardner, and Joseph McWhorter lead this way. I'm starting to see a little bit of a gap closing here between Big David Duke and Brandon Wallace.
Yeah, those guys were able to separate themselves from Casey Jones and Jeremiah Holt, but they have not separated at all, as now they're actually closing in, the two of them closing in on Barrett as well. So, got a fight here. Possibly this fight here could lead to who's going to get to the P4 position.
P4, PB4, P after, whatever.
As Wallace is really working that outside line to his advantage. And I mean, for the 78, if they get to Barrett, for the 78 is going to be at a slight disadvantage with Morton running the same line. And oh, you see right there, he comes down in front of the nose of the 78. Wallace on the high side, going to get a good run. Going to be side by side with Morton down the backstretch. Have the advantage going into the corner, and should be able to carry momentum to maybe even put himself at a further advantage off this corner. As you see there, gets that big run.
Big David Duke in 78. Basically, there's triple nines in front of him. The 99 and Brandon Wallace, the 9 of Barrett Morton. They're holding down P4 and 5 here with 12 laps to go. All of a sudden, we've got a challenge for the lead. Jeremy Gardner and Mark Whitley going at it. They're getting ready to exchange paint as they cross the start-finish line with 11 laps to go.
Yeah, Whitley's still able to power forward on that outside, but Gardner gets such a good run into the corner here as they make a run down the backstretch. Certainly Gardner going to look to the inside here now, going into turns 3. But Whitley, if he's able to continue holding that power, it's very hard to beat him off the corner there.
Fender to fender in turn 1 and 2 goes Mark Whitley and Jeremy Gardner. Jeremy's decided here with just 10 laps to go that this is when he wants to start making his move on Whitley, who has dominated this race. They both started on turn 1, but all of a sudden, Gardner wants to come back as the lead.
Yeah, with just 9 laps to go, I mean, it's going to be calm now, but would not be surprised if they start leaning on one another here towards the end, as, you know, Whitley certainly wants to continue that run as he gets the wall. That's going to open things up for Gardner going into turns 3.
John Williams could not orchestrate a score like this as we work here with 9 laps to go. Rusty Rafferty saying, let's go, Big Daddy, as we work here with 8 to go now. Jeremy Gardner sniffing that tailpipe of Mark Whitley.
This time he comes off the corner. He was side by side. Whitley going to have a better power off there. I don't know what more that Gardner could do here to get by Whitley, as I mean, he's thrown everything that he possibly can, and I mean, it's going to be real close coming out of the corner there, trying to pull every bit of side draft off the back of that truck he can.
Seven laps to go for Whitley and Gardner. Joseph McWhorter trailing now by 1.6 seconds. Casey Jones and Jeremiah Holt duking it out back here for 9th position.
Back at the front, still now it's just a 1/10 of a second up front as it's just a continued side-by-side battle up there.
Yeah, these drivers aren't going to be giving up anytime soon. Travis Bieber trying to hold off the 48 of Andy Kurtz. I swear to you, it seems like every time we see Travis Bieber or Andy Kurtz is near Travis Bieber or Travis Bieber is near Andy Kurtz.
Oh, 100%. They find each other each and every week.
Geez, they should have used Travis Bieber as the beacon in the desert for the Hebrews in the book of Exodus. Andy Kurtz could have led him right to the promised land. Or whatever happened. Mark Whitley side by side, wheel well to wheel weld with Jeremy Gardner as they're getting ready to split the 80 truck now of Kevin Price. Kevin Price decides that he wants to be a temporary meat filler in that sandwich as they get around him.
Yeah, and Gardner getting a better run each and every lap off the corner here, as now he's not going to have to fall back in line to Whitley, as they're side by side down into turn one, and there's just 2 laps to go. And I mean, Gardner's just right there, and I don't know what more he can possibly do. He's going to be side by side down the backstretch, not going to fall back in line again as he's still side by side. It's a strong battle here.
Jeremy Gardner going side by side now with Mark Whitley. Whitley and Gardner go paint to paint as the popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers. 45 minutes so far since the drop of the green flag, and Jeremy Gardner's decided this is when he wants to make his move on Mark Whitley. Joseph McWhorter, a second and a half back. That's not a factor. Right now, it all comes down to this. The 42 coming out of turn number 4. He is door handle to door handle. They make contact, but the 74 of Mark Whitley continues his Truck Series streak and captures the checkered flag right here at Iowa Speedway.
And that's about as tight as they could possibly get there. And, you know, Gardner just coming off the corner, trying to power off as much as he could, gets into the side of Whitley, and Whitley standing ground there. And I don't think he could get much closer than that for Gardner knocking off the streak. But, you know, I feel like now Gardner's got to come back next week. I know he said that he wanted to challenge Whitley for it, and certainly probably one of the toughest challenges Whitley has had for the win here in the last few weeks.
Yeah, for the most part, for these last several weeks, Whitley has been able to run away from the field. But tonight, Jeremy Gardner definitely chased him down like a kid that owed him lunch money.
Yeah, and I mean, I think if just there was just a handful more laps, I mean, maybe even just one more lap, I think Gardner could have gotten him, because, I mean, it started out that, you know, Whitley was just about a car length ahead or half a truck ahead getting off the corners, and by the end of this thing, they were only about half a car side by side. So, I mean, Gardner, just an extra lap or two, I think he could have gotten him.
Well, and Big David Duke comes in, the first driver in our playoffs, and of course he's followed by Joseph McWhorter. And, you know, I mean, realistically, as we look back down through the list, I think Travis Bieber would be next. So, I mean, even our playoffs just got shuffled and nobody locked in yet since Mark Whitley picked up the checkered flag this evening here at Iowa Speedway. As we're going to get a hold of Mark Whitley, let's check in with him now. And Mark Whitley, it's Dave Riegel up in the broadcast booth. You get a copy?
I gotcha.
Buddy, listen, another busy Sunday night here on Goat Locker Racing's INVets Truck Series. How's that number 74 feeling?
Feeling a little worn out right now, honestly. It was
it was a tough night.
It was a crazy battle. I'm kind of out of breath, honestly, after, I don't know how many laps that was side by side, but it felt like forever.
It always feels like, forever when you're side by side, especially when you've got a competitor like Jeremy Gardner literally licking your tailpipe.
Yeah, I know. I was trying every little trick I could, trying to just keep the momentum up. He was rolling the bottom really good down there, and I was just trying to keep the momentum up with these trucks. I wasn't going to make it easy to pass him. I didn't want to lose my streak, so I did everything I could, and it just was barely good enough.
Yeah, all things considered, next year or at least next season, what are you thinking about as far as, being a full-time driver and being playoff eligible?
I don't know. There's a couple different series in the league. This one's like the Sunday night one, and there's the Friday truck one. It's just going to depend on how my schedule, the rest of my stuff works out. It's been fun driving these guys. I think I believe it's Friday night. It's like the premiere series, so hopefully we can get into that. If we can't, then I would love to come back over here Sunday, or maybe run for the full season. Like I've said, I don't know how many weeks in a row now. We're on an unbelievable run, and every week it seems like there's a new challenge, and thankfully we've been able to overcome them all. And it's pretty good field. A little shy on car count tonight, but playoffs, it happens. It's still great group of guys, and especially all the green flag run. That we didn't have any bad wrecks or anything. It was just a couple self spins. So all in all, I think this is a pretty good series to run.
Believe you me when I tell you that Jordan and I get spoiled by calling this league. I mean, it's not even it's 8:59 and we're all wrapped up. I mean, you guys are incredible down there on the racetrack, and hats off to you. And before we catch you loose, who do you need to tip your helmet to, and who helped you get it done on the 74 team tonight?
Yeah, big shout out to Brantley over at Harpoon Designs. Like I said, every week he does all my amazing paint jobs. He does the best work I think on iRacing. So check him out at harpoondesign.com. INVets for sponsoring this series. Lincoln Tech, Save 22. Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, all great causes. Go check them out. All great causes. Glad I'm involved in the league that has these guys on board. And thanks for putting on a broadcast. And shout out to the rest of the guys out there tonight. We went green for felt like 90% of the race, so it's always fun to have one of those races.
Yep, you guys are incredible. Believe me, I know I speak for Jordan and I both. You guys are just top-notch when it comes to bringing it home safely. So congratulations, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, yeah, and shout out to Jeremy for not dumping me, because, the way everybody is in racing now, they just, they don't like to race cleanly. So I really appreciate him racing me hard and clean, and I'm glad we were able to finish it there and get a nice little finish instead of one of us, getting wrecked.
The old iRacing.com auto dump feature.
Yeah, so I'm glad there's still some people on this thing that know how to race pretty good.
Attaboy. All right, brother. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
Next up on our podium with you now is Jeremy Gardner. Jordan, I think you have him down on the field.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Jordan in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, man. So I saw just pre-race you were coming here to make a random surprise visit here to the Sunday Truck League to try to knock off Mark Whitley, and you by far have come the closest. By far, I mean, you guys were side by side there, coming off of 4. You gave it just about every bit of track that you could up to the 74's door there, and I mean, a hell of a run there, brother.
Yeah, it definitely sucks. I wanted to win that so bad. I had him on the long run the first stint, and by the time I caught him, it was time to pit. So that killed it. And then a couple cautions. I was just trying to have long run pace tonight. I was one of those high line dominant tracks. You get the run off. I mean, it's just the fastest line on the track. I'm a bottom line guy, so I just normally stick to my route. Dude, that was fun. God, I feel like a sweaty 8-year-old kid that just left midnight release of Call of Duty right now. So I drove my ass off for that one, man.
Absolutely. And, kind of looking back at it, through that last run there, I mean, you gained what felt like a mile on him each and every lap that ticked off. So, I mean, do you think maybe just a lap or 2 or 3 more that you would have been able to use that bottom line to get up and by him? Because, I mean, you started that run, he was able to pull out, and then, it was 0.3 of a second. He ticked off just 100th after 100th. And then there you were side by side forever, where you had to fall back in line and then dive back under. But by the end of this thing, I mean, you were side by side the whole last 5-6 laps. You think just an extra lap there, I mean, you would have been able to get him?
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, he's pretty fast. I mean, I think we restarted with 25 to go, so I knew there wasn't going to be no trying to save tire. I'm a long run guy. I don't really run short runs, so I knew right there with 25 to go, we had to go. So he got out a little bit. I think Highlines typically burn tires up, so that's why I just tried to stick my bottom all night. But I mean, there towards the end, I knew it was go time. So, man, that's probably one of the best battles I've ever had being on here. I try to keep it clean. That's my reputation. I like to run people hard, but I also like to keep it clean. I mean, I could have shoved him out, but I wanted a good finish right there. Shout out to him. I mean, he ran me clean. I don't think we touched doors not one time. So,
yeah, no, I mean, it was a phenomenal battle there, and look forward to maybe if you decide to step up in here next week or the week after. Maybe, I'm not sure. I know it's a random appearance by you, but before I set you loose there, brother, is there anybody you want to shout out and thank for tonight's performance?
Yeah, man. Pat and Jamie at JLR, appreciate everything them guys do for us. Veteran community, Jam Printing and Promotions, INVets for helping put on the series. Of course, y'all put on a hell of a broadcast tonight. I hope I put on a good show for y'all and everybody watching. And Alexander PCs and my guys over at Premier Racing Setups.
All right, man. Well, again, thank you for your time, and maybe we'll catch you sometime before the end of the season there.
Yes, sir.
How we doing tonight?
Buddy, we're doing good tonight. Big David Duke here with us, finishing third on the evening. Now, you crawled up 3 spots after starting in 6th, but, I mean, that was a tough race to keep yourself ahead of the pack.
Yeah, that race for me was always going to be for third. That was the top 2 were in a different league than what I could compete in tonight. So I'll walk away with a third. It was tough, man. They had a tremendous pace.
Yeah, I mean, this race tonight got over, quicker than somebody hijacking, a plane. I mean, this was out of this world fast. And you guys, week after week, impressed Jordan and I. I don't know why I was about to call him Jeremy. But I do love you, sir. But Jordan and I are continually impressed by how fast you guys are able to get these races done safely. What's the secret sauce there?
I mean, I don't know if there's a secret sauce. It's like with most leagues, man. As time goes on, you kind of get used to racing around each other, and if the league starts out usually having a lot of cautions, you kind of just get tired of that, right? Like you just get tired of it, and you start racing a little bit cleaner, maybe not taking as many chances. But I think it's just a product of everybody just kind of getting used to each other and just wanting to get these races going and just racing hard but clean and giving everybody a little bit of room.
Yeah, I think that's one of the hardest things that they should teach when you take those basic iRacing.com training classes, like how to give somebody room, how to keep a race green for this long. But, things happen out on the racetrack. Before we catch you loose tonight, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done right here on the 78 team?
Got to thank iRacing, Above the Yellow Line, obviously that's on my truck, on my hat, to Above the Yellow Line Media, Sim Motion, and INVets. Everybody over here at Goat Locker. It's a fantastic organization to be involved with. Don't forget, text Goat Locker to, what is it, 79848, right? I think that's what the number is for
Sounds great to me.
For our outreach to make sure that that you're recording your feedback for Goat Locker so we can get our funding secured. KeithSaysYes.com, everybody over at Yes Car. MVV Travel Co. My wife, she's a travel agent. Anybody need any travel book? Come see me. She's a travel agent. MVV Travel Co. And everybody that at Power Bolton Tool that helps me get out through the month. So I appreciate everybody.
Well, you'll have to reach out to me and let me know when she's got some time. I've got some trips to plan, sir. So congratulations here on the 3rd place finish at Iowa. We'll see you next week, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah, hey, seriously, send me a message in Discord, and I'll get with you for sure.
Buddy, I got you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. That, of course, the voice of Big David Duke. And Jordan, big night for us right here as Mark Whitley brings home the checkered flag. And, of course, now we see that the time has expired on the iRacing.com session. So we want to thank everybody for tuning in and checking out Mark Whitley, joined by Jeremy Gardner and Big David Duke on the iRacing.com podium. Joseph McWhorter and Brandon Wallace round out your top 5, while Barrett Morton, Travis Bieber, Andy Kurtz, Jeremiah Holt, and Casey Jones make up your top 10. Charles Abert, Brock Price, Kyle Deering, Ricky Sisk Jr., Kevin Price, Alex McQueen, and Jamie Libke coming in to get her few points for the evening rounds out your field tonight. So for myself, Dave Regal, and of course my broadcast partner extraordinaire, Mr. Jordan Brockell, we thank you for tuning in tonight and every night right here on Sim Racing Media. And as we walk down the road of life tomorrow, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.